Jared Hale wandered across the desert moon, his boots kicking up red dust with every step. The air was thin, cold, and harsh, and the sun beat down relentlessly. He had no home, no friends, and barely enough credits to survive. Each day was a fight for shelter, food, and water. The moonscape was empty, filled with jagged rocks and endless dunes, making him feel smaller than ever. He had learned to rely only on himself, but even that was growing harder. As he trudged toward a distant rock formation, he noticed a small, tattered advertisement floating in a holographic panel. It flickered in the sunlight, almost invisible against the bright sky. Curious, he reached out and activated it. The panel displayed a simple message. A cave located on this very moon was for sale at a price so low it seemed unreal. Most would ignore it, thinking it worthless, but Jared's heart leapt. Shelter. A place to stay. No one else could have cared less. He had only a few credits left in his pocket, but desperation outweighed doubt. He contacted the seller through the panel and arranged to pay immediately. The transaction was simple, fast, and final. Jared now owned a cave. A small smile tugged at his lips. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, he felt a glimmer of hope. This cave could be more than a shelter. It could be the start of a new life. The journey to the cave was long, across rocky ridges and shifting dunes. The wind howled in his ears, and he clutched his worn coat tighter around his shoulders. At last he arrived at the rock formation the panel had shown. From the outside, it looked ordinary, just a hollow in the cliff face, shadows stretching deep into the ground. Dust swirled around the entrance as if welcoming him. Jared hesitated, staring at the darkness. He had no idea what waited inside. Stepping into the cave, he immediately felt a change. The temperature dropped and the air was different, cooler, denser, almost alive. His boots echoed softly against the stone floor. The walls were rough, covered in natural markings that caught his attention. At first he thought they were random cracks, but as he moved deeper he realized some were intentional, like symbols left by someone long ago. They seemed to glow faintly, barely visible in the dim light, hinting at something hidden. Jared's curiosity grew. He walked slowly, examining the walls. Small alcoves held crystals that reflected faint light across the cave, creating shimmering patterns on the stone. Each step echoed through the hollow chamber, and he felt a strange vibration beneath his feet. It was subtle but persistent, as if the cave itself was waiting. A shiver ran down his spine. He was alone, yet not alone. Something had been here before him, something ancient, patient, and aware. He found a small, flat area near the center of the cave and decided it would be a good place to settle. Jared set down his pack and unpacked a few meager supplies. Water, rations, and an old blanket were all he had, but it felt like abundance compared to the emptiness of the moonscape outside. He sat down on the stone floor, feeling the weight of his past struggles pressing against him. For the first time he allowed himself a moment of relief. The cave offered protection, a barrier between him and the harsh world outside. But Jared could not ignore the strange symbols on the walls. He leaned closer, tracing a hand along one of the carvings. The touch sent a faint vibration through his fingers like a pulse. He stepped back, startled. Nothing had happened before. He tried another symbol, and again, a soft hum resonated through the stone. His heart raced. There was something unusual here, something he did not understand, waiting to be discovered. That night, Jared built a small fire using collected rocks and synthetic fuel. The flames cast dancing shadows across the cave walls, and the symbols seemed to glow brighter in the flickering light. He watched them carefully, his imagination running wild. What could have left these markings? Who or what had lived here long ago? The thought both excited and unnerved him. He felt like he had stumbled onto something far larger than himself, something that had waited patiently for centuries. Sleep did not come easily. Jared lay on his blanket, listening to the distant howling wind outside and the faint hum that seemed to come from deep within the cave. It was subtle but persistent, a low vibration that resonated through his chest. He touched the floor and felt it beneath his palm. The cave was alive in some way, reacting to his presence. He shivered, half in fear and half in awe. The emptiness he had carried for so long was being replaced by something mysterious, something alive. When morning came, the sunlight barely reached the cave's interior, but it revealed more of the strange symbols etched into the walls. Jared explored further, carefully stepping over jagged rocks and narrow passageways. In a small, hidden corner, he found a faint glow behind a slab of rock. Pushing it aside, he discovered a small chamber. The air was warmer here, and a soft hum grew louder as he entered. In the center lay a metallic object, covered in dust and time, radiating a faint light that pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Jared froze. His heart pounded. He had expected a cave for shelter, but not this. Not an object that seemed alive, ancient, and waiting. He reached out slowly, hand trembling. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, a wave of energy surged through him, not painful, but startling. Images flashed in his mind, stars, planets, alien ships, and civilizations long gone. He staggered back, overwhelmed. This was not just a cave. It was a repository of knowledge, a hidden treasure that had waited centuries for someone like him. For hours, Jared sat in the chamber, studying the object and the surrounding symbols. Every instinct in him told him to run, to leave it alone, but curiosity won. He felt chosen, as if the cave had picked him. He had been homeless, struggling, invisible to the galaxy, but here he mattered. Here he was part of something much bigger. The cave, the object, the symbols, they were all waiting for him to notice, to understand. By the end of the day, Jared had made a decision. He would not just live here to survive. He would explore, learn, and unlock the secrets of the cave. Whatever had been waiting for centuries, he was now a part of it. The harsh desert moon outside no longer seemed so threatening. Inside the cave, a new life had begun. Jared Hale, once homeless and forgotten, had found a purpose beyond anything he had imagined. And in the quiet hum of the chamber, the object pulsed softly, as if acknowledging him. He was no longer alone. Something ancient and powerful had finally found its human, and Jared could feel that everything was about to change. Jared woke to a soft glow filling the cave. The metallic object pulsed gently, casting moving patterns on the walls. He rubbed his eyes, unsure if it had been there all night or if he had only just noticed it. His curiosity was stronger than ever. He took a careful step forward, reaching out toward the object. The moment his fingers brushed its surface, a sudden warmth spread through his hand, climbing up his arm. It was not painful, only strange and electric, as if the object was alive. The chamber around him seemed to respond. Symbols on the wall shimmered faintly, and a low hum filled the air. Jared's heart raced. He realized this was no ordinary artifact. It was ancient, intelligent, and waiting. For centuries, it had remained dormant, hidden from the galaxy until a human arrived, someone it could communicate with. Jared stared at it in awe, feeling an unexplainable connection. As he touched the object more fully, flashes of images filled his mind. He saw stars exploding, planets forming, and alien civilizations rising and falling. He did not understand all of it, but it was clear the knowledge was vast. Jared staggered back, overwhelmed, breathing heavily. He whispered to himself, This is incredible. I've never seen anything like this." The artifact pulsed again and the flashes slowed, as if acknowledging his presence, letting him absorb information at his own pace. Jared spent hours examining the cave. Small alcoves held crystals that reflected the pulsing light, amplifying its glow. Strange markings along the walls seemed to respond to his movement, changing shapes and forming new symbols. Jared realized that the cave itself was a system, designed to protect the artifact and communicate with its chosen human. The realization filled him with awe and excitement. He had expected only shelter, but he had discovered something far greater. He returned to the artifact repeatedly, each time learning more. By touching certain parts, he could access holographic displays, maps of nearby planets, diagrams of energy flows, and instructions and symbols that slowly translated into forms he could understand. The artifact was teaching him, sharing knowledge that no human had seen for centuries. He could feel the intelligence guiding him, careful not to overwhelm him, waiting for him to adapt. As the days passed, Jared experimented with the artifact. Small devices rose from the floor, responding to his gestures. Holographic interfaces projected into the air, showing energy networks and alien star systems. Jared realized that the cave contained technology capable of immense power, shaping ecosystems, moving planets, even generating life. But it was also delicate. Misuse could be catastrophic. He understood that he had been entrusted with something priceless, something the galaxy had forgotten. Jared also discovered that the artifact responded to his emotions and intentions. When he approached with fear, the light dimmed. When he approached with curiosity and calm, it pulsed brighter. The cave had chosen him because of his human traits, patience, empathy, and the ability to think creatively. Unlike aliens who relied on power and domination, Jared's mind worked differently, and the artifact recognized it. One afternoon, while exploring deeper chambers, Jared uncovered a second artifact, smaller but connected to the first. When he touched it, the two hummed together, creating a network of energy that spread across the cave. Symbols on the walls rearranged themselves, forming maps of the galaxy with paths, safe zones, and hidden secrets. Jared realized that this cave was not isolated. It had been a hub, a waiting point for centuries, prepared for someone capable of understanding and using the knowledge responsibly. Jared felt a mix of awe and responsibility. He had stumbled into something far beyond his understanding, yet it seemed to trust him. He spent days learning, practicing, and exploring. Each discovery was a small victory, understanding a new symbol, activating a device, or accessing a star map. The cave had become more than a shelter. It was a classroom, a laboratory, and a library of ancient power. At night, he would sit beside the artifacts, watching the soft glow and humming energy. He imagined what had come before him. Aliens who created this technology, civilizations that had risen and fallen, all leaving this knowledge behind. And now it waited for a human, someone who could think differently, act with empathy, and see patterns no one else could. Jared felt both humbled and powerful. One evening, while studying a projection of a distant star system, Jared noticed something moving outside the cave. A small scout ship hovered in the moon's thin atmosphere. It was scanning the area. Jared's heart raced. He had been alone, thinking he had time to learn in peace, but now the presence of others threatened discovery. He realized that the artifact's location had to remain secret. If outsiders found it, the power could be stolen or misused. Jared quickly returned to the artifact, touching it with urgency. The glow intensified as if the cave sensed the approaching threat. Symbols shifted, showing escape routes and hidden chambers. Jared understood. The artifact not only taught knowledge, it also protected itself and its guardian. He had to move carefully. The cave had prepared for centuries for someone who could respond like him, a human with patience, ingenuity, and courage. Over the next few days, Jared combined learning with preparation. He mapped the cave, studied the technology, and practiced controlling small devices. He realized that the artifact was not just a tool, it was a partner. It communicated through symbols, light, and energy patterns, teaching him in ways he could understand. Each day he felt more capable, more connected, and more aware of the responsibility he carried. Finally, Jared paused and looked at the cave around him. It had transformed from a simple shelter into a living system, reacting to his presence, guiding his actions, and preparing him for what might come. The artifact had awakened, not fully but enough to reveal its potential. Jared smiled, feeling a mixture of fear, excitement, and purpose. He had discovered something that had waited for centuries, and now he was ready to learn, protect, and maybe even use it. As the twin moons rose over the desert horizon, their pale light filtering through the cave entrance, Jared sat quietly beside the artifact. He whispered to it, "I don't fully understand you yet, but I'll learn. I'll protect you." The cave pulsed gently in response, as if acknowledging him. For the first time in his life, Jared felt truly alive, chosen for a purpose larger than himself. The cave had been waiting. And now, Jared was ready to discover its secrets. Jared woke to a soft hum filling the cave. The metallic artifact pulsed brighter than before, casting moving patterns on the walls. He sat up slowly, blinking as the light adjusted his eyes. Something had changed overnight. The symbols carved into the walls were glowing steadily now, forming shapes and paths he had not seen before. It was as if the cave itself had awakened, responding to his presence and his growing understanding. He stepped closer to the artifact. The moment his hand touched its surface, a wave of energy ran through him, stronger than before. Images filled his mind, vast star systems, alien ships moving silently through space, civilizations rising and falling. He staggered, gasping. The artifact was not just giving information, it was communicating, teaching, and testing him. Jared realized that this cave and its technology had been waiting for someone who could understand, someone human. Jared moved carefully through the chamber, tracing symbols and touching glowing panels. As he did, holographic displays appeared in midair. They showed star maps, energy networks, and devices he could not name. He reached out to one, and the hologram responded, shifting to reveal a three-dimensional view of a distant planet. He could see mountains, rivers, and cities, all marked with alien symbols. The artifact was showing him knowledge that had been hidden for centuries, knowledge that only a human mind could begin to comprehend. Hours passed, and Jared explored deeper into the cave. He discovered smaller artifacts, each connected to the main one. Touching them created new patterns and pathways in the holograms. One device opened a map of nearby moons and asteroids, showing paths that were safe to travel and areas that were dangerous. Another created a small floating projection of energy flows, demonstrating how power could move across planets. Jared was overwhelmed but thrilled. Every discovery was proof that he had been chosen, that he was the one meant to awaken the cave. As he worked, Jared noticed something incredible. The artifact responded not only to his touch but to his intentions and emotions. When he approached with curiosity and respect, the light brightened and patterns became clear. When fear or doubt crept in, the glow dimmed and some holograms faded. The cave was teaching him that understanding required more than intellect. It required patience, empathy, and focus. He realized that the human's edge was not just in strength or technology, but in thought, creativity, and trust. One afternoon, while studying a projection of a distant star system, Jared touched the hologram and it shifted. He felt the cave guide him, showing paths, hidden points, and unknown civilizations. A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating through the floor. The artifact was awakening further, becoming more aware of him and his actions. Jared realized the cave had been dormant for centuries, waiting for someone with human ingenuity to interact and activate its true potential. Suddenly, a new sound reached him, a faint disturbance at the cave entrance. Jared froze. Dust and small stones shifted, suggesting movement outside. He grabbed a small ledge and peered into the darkness. Shadows danced on the walls. Someone, or something, was coming. The artifact pulsed, brighter this time, almost warning him. Jared's heart raced, but he felt ready. He had learned from the cave and now he understood its power and his role. Cautiously he moved to a deeper chamber. As he did, the artifact's hum increased. Symbols rearranged themselves on the walls, forming defensive patterns, secret paths, and hidden chambers. Jared realized the cave was protecting itself, guiding him to safety while preparing for whoever or whatever was approaching. He felt a surge of confidence. This was not just a discovery, this was a partnership. The artifact was alive in some way and together they could face anything. The intruder turned out to be a small scout probe, likely sent by someone searching the moon. Jared could hear its whirring engines outside. He thought quickly, using the cave systems. Holographic energy fields projected across the entrance, hiding the chamber from sensors. Jared touched the main artifact, and the light spread to cover the entire cave, cloaking it from outside view. The probe hovered briefly, then moved on, unable to detect the secrets hidden within. Jared exhaled, realizing how powerful the artifact was when combined with human creativity. Over the next few days, Jared continued to awaken the cave. The holographic maps became more detailed, showing unknown planets, energy sources, and alien technologies. Small drones inside the cave activated, responding to his commands. They were harmless but intelligent, helping him explore, test, and understand the artifact's potential. Jared felt a growing sense of purpose. The cave was no longer just a place to live, it was a gateway to knowledge, power, and understanding that humans had never possessed. One night, he sat beside the artifact, watching the glowing symbols and holographic projections. He whispered, "I don't know everything yet, but I will learn. I'll protect you and I'll use what I learn wisely." The artifact pulsed in response, almost like a heartbeat, a silent acknowledgement of his words. Jared felt a deep connection, realizing that the cave had chosen him not for wealth or strength, but for his mind, patience, and courage. Humans had an edge in ways aliens could never understand. The awakening continued. New chambers revealed themselves with alien machinery long dormant. Some devices hummed faintly, waiting for interaction. Others projected alien life forms, demonstrating energy use, movement, and even language. Jared could not understand everything, but he learned to recognize patterns and predict outcomes. The cave was teaching him, slowly, carefully, as if preparing him for challenges beyond the moon. Then one morning the artifact created a larger projection, showing a distant star system in turmoil. Planets were at risk and civilizations faced danger. Jared realized that the knowledge he was gaining could save worlds, but only if he used it wisely. The artifact was not just a tool, it was a test. Humans were the key because only a human could combine intellect, creativity, and empathy to understand and act responsibly. Jared felt the weight of responsibility but also a thrill. By the end of the week, the cave was fully awake. Holographic maps filled the chambers, devices hummed with energy, and the symbols glowed in complex, interconnected patterns. Jared had learned how to operate small systems, understand alien energy flows, and even communicate with the artifact in basic ways. He was no longer just a homeless man seeking shelter. He was a guardian, chosen to protect and unlock secrets that had waited centuries for him. As the twin moons rose over the desert horizon, casting pale light into the cave, Jared sat beside the artifact, feeling its pulse in rhythm with his own heartbeat. The awakening was complete, but he knew this was only the beginning. Beyond the cave, dangers and opportunities awaited, and the galaxy had yet to realize that a human now held knowledge and power that could change everything. The artifact pulsed gently as if saying, "We are ready." Jared smiled, knowing that together he and the cave would face whatever came next. He was no longer alone, no longer powerless. Humans had an edge and he had discovered it at last. Jared had grown comfortable in the cave, exploring its hidden chambers and learning from the artifact. But one morning as he examined a new holographic map of nearby star systems, a faint signal appeared on the projection: alien ships approaching the desert moon. They were fast, organized and heavily armed. Jared's heart pounded. He realized that the activation of the artifact had not gone unnoticed. Others were coming to claim the knowledge that had waited centuries. He moved quickly through the cave, touching the artifact and activating hidden systems. Energy fields hummed to life, walls shifted, and small drones awoke from long dormancy. The cave responded instantly to his presence, revealing concealed passages, hidden chambers, and traps. Jared felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He had never faced danger like this, but he knew he had an edge the invaders did not. The alien forces relied on brute strength and technology, but he had creativity, understanding, and the artifact's intelligence on his side. Outside, the first ships entered the moon's atmosphere. They scanned the surface, expecting an easy target. Jared watched from a hidden vantage point inside the cave, analyzing their movement through the holographic projections. He noted patterns, patrol paths, scanning intervals, and weak points in their formation. He whispered to himself, "They think they have the advantage, but they don't know what they're up against." The artifact pulsed in response, almost approvingly. It recognized his human ingenuity and patience. Jared set his plan in motion. Using the cave systems, he projected false energy signatures across the moon, drawing the scouts away from the hidden entrance. Drones moved silently, creating illusions of activity in areas far from the actual cave. The alien ships responded to the signals, changing their paths and moving cautiously. Jared smiled. His combination of strategy, observation, and the artifact's assistance was already giving him the upper hand. As the scouts neared, Jared triggered the first set of defenses. Small, automated devices rose from concealed slots, emitting pulses that scrambled sensors and temporarily disabled the alien ship's targeting systems. The invaders were confused, unable to locate the cave's entrance. Jared used the holographic projections to guide the artifact's energy through hidden channels, amplifying the effect. The alien forces hesitated, unsure what had caused the interference. One of the scout ships landed nearby, attempting to search on foot. Jared activated a chamber that projected a dense energy fog around the cave's entrance. The fog refracted light and sound, masking his position completely. He could see the aliens stumbling through it, frustrated and cautious. The artifact pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, guiding him to activate additional measures. Small energy barriers and holographic duplicates of the cave entrance made it appear as if the area was empty and lifeless. Hours passed. The aliens attempted multiple approaches, but each time Jared and the artifact countered. He observed, adapted, and acted quickly. He created subtle traps that immobilized the invaders' ground vehicles without harming them, and drones moved silently, herding them into dead ends. The alien forces were skilled, but Jared's human intuition and the artifact's intelligence allowed him to stay one step ahead. During the night, one alien managed to approach a secondary entrance. Jared noticed it on a holographic display and acted immediately. He activated a series of panels that caused the cave walls to shift, sealing the path and trapping the intruder in a small chamber. The alien struggled, but the device immobilized it without causing harm. Jared approached cautiously, using the artifact to communicate through symbols. The intruder froze, then relaxed, realizing he was outmatched. Jared felt a surge of confidence. The cave had protected him, but his quick thinking had made the difference. The next day, more ships appeared on the horizon. This time, it was clear that a larger force was arriving, likely sent by a more powerful faction. Jared knew he could not face them head-on. He focused on deception and strategy, using the artifact to manipulate energy patterns across the moon. Holographic projections created entire landscapes that were not real, confusing the alien scanners and drawing their attention away from the cave. They searched blindly, wasting time and energy while Jared studied their patterns. As the threat grew, Jared realized he had to prepare for a potential confrontation. He activated chambers that produced energy barriers, small defensive drones, and automated devices that could disable alien weapons. Each system worked in tandem, guided by the artifact and his human intuition. He felt a sense of power he had never known, tempered by the responsibility he carried. The artifact had awakened fully now, responding instantly to his commands and intentions. During a quiet moment, Jared studied the projections and noticed a flaw in the invaders' coordination. Their sensors relied on predictable patterns which the artifact and he could exploit. He planned a final maneuver, a series of energy pulses and holographic projections that would make the cave appear completely invisible and inaccessible. The aliens, expecting an easy target, would be forced to retreat, thinking the cave was empty or destroyed. Jared smiled. This was human ingenuity combined with ancient technology, a combination no alien could anticipate. When the alien ships approached for the last time, Jared executed his plan. Energy pulses shimmered across the terrain, holographic duplicates confused their sensors, and the cave seemed to vanish completely. The alien forces scanned frantically, unable to detect any sign of the artifact or Jared. Frustrated and confused, they eventually gave up and departed. Jared exhaled, relief flooding him. He had defended the cave without direct conflict, using strategy, intelligence, and creativity. Humans had an edge the galaxy often overlooked. As silence returned to the desert moon, Jared stood at the cave entrance, watching the horizon. The artifact pulsed softly beside him, almost as if acknowledging his success. He realized that the danger was not over. The galaxy was vast and others might come, but he was ready. He had learned to think like the cave, to anticipate threats, and to use the artifact wisely. His fear had transformed into confidence, and he understood that humans had a unique strength: adaptability, creativity, and courage. That night, Jared walked through the cave, touching each chamber, each artifact, and each symbol. The systems hummed and glowed in response. He had awakened more than the cave. He had awakened his own potential. The threat had come, but humans had prevailed. He whispered to the artifact, "We've faced them, and we're ready for whatever comes next." The artifact pulsed warmly, affirming their bond. Jared realized something important. The cave had waited centuries not just for a human, but for someone who could combine intelligence, patience, and courage. He had survived, learned, and protected the secrets hidden for generations. The desert moon was silent again, but he knew the galaxy would never be silent for long. There would always be threats, but now humans had an edge, something no alien could match. He sat beside the artifact, watching its gentle glow, and felt a sense of purpose he had never known. The cave was no longer just a shelter or a repository of ancient technology, it was a testament to human ingenuity. Jared smiled, ready for the next challenge, knowing that the artifact and he were a team, prepared for whatever the universe might send. Jared sat in the cave, the glow of the artifact filling the chamber with warm, pulsing light. Outside, the desert moon stretched endlessly, quiet after the retreat of the alien scouts. He had faced threats he never imagined, survived, and learned the secrets of a technology that had waited centuries for someone human. For the first time in his life he felt powerful, not because of weapons or strength but because he understood, adapted, and acted. The artifact pulsed beside him, responding to his calm focus. Jared could now see patterns not just in the cave but in the galaxy itself. It showed him star systems at risk, alien conflicts brewing, and civilizations that had no idea what was coming. He realized that this knowledge was more than power, it was responsibility. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, but now he had the chance to show that ingenuity and courage could change the course of events. Jared tested the cave systems carefully. Small drones moved silently through the chambers, activating energy conduits and projecting holographic maps. The artifact responded instantly to his gestures and thoughts. He realized that humans could combine creativity, logic, and empathy in ways the aliens could not predict. While alien technology relied on raw power, humans used ideas, intuition, and adaptability. That was their edge. Days passed as Jared practiced using the artifact. He learned to generate energy shields, redirect power, and even create temporary projections of alien ships. These simulations helped him anticipate attacks and understand threats before they arrived. He studied past star maps the artifact revealed, seeing civilizations rise and fall, learning from their mistakes. Jared understood that humans could apply knowledge, think differently, and act quickly in ways that even advanced aliens could not anticipate. Then came a signal, an urgent one unlike the slow-moving scouts. A fleet of alien ships approached, larger and more organized than before. They were not looking for a cave this time, they were seeking the artifact itself. Jared's pulse quickened. He knew this was the real test, a chance to see if human ingenuity could truly outmatch brute force. He took a deep breath, feeling the artifact's energy hum in response, ready to assist him. Jared acted swiftly. Using the cave systems, he projected multiple holographic duplicates of the chamber and its surroundings across the moon's surface. Energy pulses scrambled their sensors, and drones created distractions, moving silently and unpredictably. The aliens expected a single target, but Jared turned the entire terrain into a puzzle, making it impossible to locate him or the artifact. They fired weapons, scanned repeatedly, but every attempt failed. Human creativity combined with the cave's intelligence outmatched raw firepower. One of the alien ships attempted to land near the cave, but Jared had prepared for this. He activated energy fields that rose silently from the ground, blocking the ship and forcing it to hover. He guided drones to interfere with their systems, disabling engines temporarily and creating confusion among the fleet. The aliens realized they were not facing just a human, they were facing strategy, intuition, and a mind capable of thinking in ways their machines could not. Jared moved through the cave quickly, activating hidden passages and defensive systems. The artifact pulsed brighter, sensing his intent and amplifying his actions. He had learned to anticipate threats, combining technology and human ingenuity. He set traps that immobilized alien craft without harming them and projected false energy signatures that misled their sensors completely. Within hours, the fleet was forced to retreat, frustrated and unable to locate the artifact or Jared. As silence returned to the desert moon, Jared felt a surge of pride and understanding. Humans had an edge that went beyond strength, weapons, or numbers. They could adapt, create solutions, and act with courage in ways no alien could predict. The artifact had chosen him not only because he was human, but because he possessed patience, creativity, and the ability to understand and act wisely. These traits made him uniquely capable of protecting what had waited centuries. Jared spent the next week exploring deeper into the cave, learning more from the artifact. He discovered ancient energy networks, star maps of uncharted regions, and recordings of civilizations that had long vanished. Each discovery expanded his understanding of the galaxy, showing how humans could use knowledge to solve problems, protect life, and even prevent disasters. The artifact taught him that power alone was meaningless without wisdom, strategy, and foresight, qualities humans naturally possessed. He also realized the importance of balance. The artifact's energy could be destructive, but Jared learned to control it carefully, using subtlety and strategy instead of brute force. He created holographic simulations to practice defenses, tested energy conduits, and explored the cave's hidden chambers. Each step reinforced the lesson that humans' edge came from intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. With these traits, a single human could face threats far greater than themselves. One evening, Jared looked out from a high ridge near the cave entrance. The twin moons reflected across the barren landscape, casting long shadows. He imagined the galaxy beyond, filled with civilizations, dangers, and opportunities. He understood that the artifact was not just a tool, it was a bridge between the past and the future, a key to knowledge and power that humanity could wield responsibly. Humans could survive, adapt, and even thrive where others might fail. The artifact pulsed gently beside him, almost like a heartbeat. Jared placed his hand on it and whispered, "We've survived and we've learned. We're ready for whatever comes next." The cave responded with light and energy, affirming his words. He realized that together, human courage and intelligence, combined with ancient knowledge, created an unstoppable force. No alien could predict it and no enemy could match it. In the following days, Jared began preparing for the future. He mapped hidden chambers, activated long-dormant energy networks, and tested strategies for potential threats. He felt confident that humans could face challenges across the galaxy, not just survive but adapt, innovate, and protect what mattered. The artifact became a mentor, a guide, and a partner, teaching him that humans' edge was not just in technology, but in mind, heart, and imagination. Finally, Jared emerged from the cave, walking across the desert moon with the artifact safely contained beside him. The air was sharp, the terrain rough, but he felt ready. He had faced threats, outsmarted advanced alien forces, and learned the secrets of an ancient civilization. He was no longer a homeless man seeking shelter. He was a guardian, a strategist, and a testament to human potential. He looked at the horizon where distant stars shone across space. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and opportunities. Jared knew that humans had something no alien could replicate, the ability to think creatively, act with courage and adapt quickly to challenges. The artifact had awakened because a human was capable. Humans had an edge and Jared had proven it. As the twin moons set, Jared smiled. The desert moon, once empty and hostile, now felt like a place of possibility. He had discovered knowledge, survived threats, and forged a bond with something ancient and powerful. He knew this was only the beginning. With courage, creativity, and wisdom, humans could rise above any challenge, unlock the galaxy's secrets, and claim their place among the stars. The artifact pulsed one last time in the quiet night, a gentle rhythm in harmony with Jared's heartbeat. He understood now, humans were capable of more than anyone had imagined. With knowledge, courage, and ingenuity they could face the universe itself. Jared took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to explore, protect, and shape the galaxy. Humans had an edge and now he was living proof.